Hey, what's up guys? It's Mr. Hoppock here with a homework help video for lesson 3.3, interpreting unit rate as slope. So I'm just going to work one of these three problems just to kind of help you out, get you going on that. So looking at number 1, every 6 seconds, 8 cubic feet of water passes over a dam. Make a table, equation, and a graph of the situation, and then find the unit rate of this proportional relationship. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to make a table of the situation. So this is what my two variables. I have my first variable, which is seconds, and my other variable is cubic feet of water. Now a lot of kids always want to say the numbers 6 and 8 are the variables, but it's their units are the variables. So in the x, you got to ask yourself, what is the independent, what is the dependent variable? Well, time is always the independent variable because time depends on nothing. So the cubic feet depends on the amount of time that passes. With that being said, so I have x is going to be at the top of my table, which represents time. In time, we're talking about seconds. And then the y is the cubic feet of water. Cubic feet of water. Okay. Then from there, we can extend the table on out for our numbers. All right. Now we have that, we can kind of throw in some columns here. Okay. So, the question always with students is, what number do I start with? Well, they already give you two numbers. So if they say in 6 seconds, 8 cubic feet of water passes over the dam. Now you just go another 6 seconds, which would be 12 seconds, and then you would have 16 here. Go another 6 seconds, that would be 18, and go another, which would be another 8 cubic feet of water, which would be 24. Go another 6 seconds, and you're at 24, and how much cubic feet of water would that be? Well, it would be 8 more cubic feet of water, which would be 32. Lastly, another 6 seconds, so after 30 seconds, 40 cubic feet of water has passed. And that is our table, so we check mark that. I've made my table. Now let's go through the equation. Well, the way you make an equation is basically, since we already have a table, pick 2 points from the equations. I'm just going to go with two smaller numbers, 6, 8, and 12, 16. From there, I write out my formula. Slope is the change in y over the change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. After I do that, I label my points. xy, xy, 1, 1, 2, 2. I'm going ahead and write this out with my subtractions just so I don't get confused. There's no negatives, so I can still write it out. So then some of you picked up this shortcut. You just do this minus that and that minus that. So it's 16 minus 8 and 12 minus 6. 16 minus 8 is 8. 12 minus 6 is 6, which can be simplified. 2 will go into both of them. 2 will go into 8 4 times. It will go into 6 3 times. So my m is 4/3. And if you remember, the equation is y equals mx. Now we're just going to substitute this m in for that to get our equation. Y equals 4/3 x. So I have my table, I have my equation, check mark. Now I need to make a graph. This is where that handy dandy protractor will come in hand. I'm going to make my y-axis, and I'm going to make my x-axis. From there, I put arrows on my graph to show that it keeps going. I label my axis, x and y, and I label my origin. After that, we're going to label our both axes as x. X is time, so we got time here, and that's in seconds. And we have cubic feet of water up here. Cubic feet of H2O. From there, I would just keep it simple. I would base my time on this time that I have here. So I got 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. And then going to the cubic feet of water, I have 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. From there, I now plot the points from the table. So I got 6, 8. I put a point there. 12, 16. I put a point there. 18, 24. I put a point there. 24, 32. I put a point there. And 30, 40. I put a point there. I get my handy dandy protractor, and I'm going to get to play connect the dots. Now mine may be just a little bit off, and that's okay. It's just a little bit off just due to my measurements down here not being exactly equal to those measurements. So, but it's pretty close enough for a freehand graph. So now I've done my table, done my equation, done my graph. Now it says find the unit rate. Well, the main goal of this lesson was for you to know that unit rate is the same thing as slope. So unit rate is 4/3, which is the same thing as your slope. So you've done your 4 things: table, equation, graph, unit rate. That completes this lesson of 3.3, interpreting unit rate as slope. Hope it helps, and see you tomorrow.